fucking cute. Amy.
Okay, starting the live stream early.
Oh,
Hey, Michael.
I wish I could have them. Mm-hmm.
How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? Are you guys in the States?
Yep, Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Not here.
Lovely Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go see a show.
Yeah. No, we got here last night just to hang out with Lorelai's friend Amy, and then now we're leaving again. So
Oh, cool.
it's an excuse to come to Chicago.
Yeah, it's nice. The downtown, especially where the L is, I think it's called, the L train. That's kind of it's just, I mean, the skyscrapers are just overwhelming there. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a cool city. I went to a Bitcoin conference here like 3 years ago or something. Explored a little bit.
Yeah, especially if you like blues music, there's a lot of good places to go check out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so how are things coming back into the family and back into the real world? You're just so organized, man. Your sheet is killing it.
Yeah, I'm getting organized now. I think it's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it can be transparent and also just kind of helps me keep track of everything and then just get into those good habits, right? A lot of it's just getting into good habits. So I think the retreat was really good for me for that point of view. Like it just kind of is what I needed, like just seeing everybody face to face for the first time. So important, meeting face to face once in a while. Like obviously it's expensive, but like once a year or something like that, it's just makes you feel kind of connected to everybody. So
Yeah, makes it real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was really good. And that tangled exercise you did, Lorelai, was really good too. Kind of shows how we all, we're not we're not sitting there in a silo. We're all connecting to one another. So was really a good exercise.
Nice.
But by the way, are we having? I guess people might jump in any second, eh? But
Maybe not. We'll see.
just I'll try to say it really quick and get. But I do think Josh is feeling a bit down right now.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to Danny.
Actually, that the like rope tangle exercise was very different for him. So yeah, but I don't know. We've been talking to him and like.
Yeah.
I think he's just he's like figuring out his roles and like I don't know. He was always hesitant about us, about Giveth and like the way that this community asks people to like commit to defining roles and stuff.
Yeah.
But
maybe it's just the uncertainty because he's going in a new direction in his whole life, like moving into the data science space.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people in data science. So I've told him, when you're ready to connect to people, I can connect them up.
That's awesome.
But he also doesn't want a traditional job. He doesn't want to work for a traditional organization. So I think he might create his own, which is like an awesome idea too.
Yeah, be a consultant, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, when he's ready, I'll if he wants to reach out. I just know a lot of people in that space, so we'll see if I can help him out in any way. But I think it makes a lot of sense for him. Yeah. So then Lorelai on Georgia's stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened was when we had that discussion before, I approved his first milestone.
The one that was for like 3,400.
Yeah, but then after that, I talked to Griff, and that's when we realized he was charging double what he was supposed to be charging. So that's when I reached out to George to see about editing it. Mm-hmm. And from what I can tell, he simply canceled it.
Yeah.
And I just wrote him again this morning. I just asked him if he would resubmit the milestone, and then the other milestone I rejected, and he then resubmitted it at the right amount, and I approved that one.
Okay.
So I think he just has to resubmit the milestone. I don't think I should do it or do you want me to do it?
Well, wait, was he double charging on 2 milestones?
No, just on one.
Originally he was, yes, but I rejected the second one, and then he resubmitted it at the right amount. So he just has to resubmit that first milestone at the right amount, and then we're all good.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll message him then too, because I can come from the angle of like, hey, I've got all these people trying to pay you. So maybe that'll light a fire under his ass.
Yeah, and the other one is Andre. Like I when we were in the together in your at your place, I mentioned it to him too, because I was thinking about George, and I was like, hey, Andre hasn't submitted a milestone yet either, I realized. So he put in a test one a couple of days ago, and I just rejected it. But so hopefully I'm not sure he quite understands what to do, not from the technical side, but maybe from the Rafa side. I think he'll sort that out when he gets back.
Their deal and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have success with getting Rafa to like talk? Because I know there was like, oh, Jorge and Rafa need to have this conversation that they haven't had. And
not only that, I can't even get Rafa to talk to me about the UNICEF grant. I've been every week, every 3 days, I sent a message to George, and the last one was George said he was going to now be the writer for it, but anyhow, I've just mentioned it to George again. Like I'm really struggling with that one. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I'm not sure George is the right person
to be the writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we already made a script. Like Griff and I have a script already. The idea was we were going to merge the two scripts together into kind of a super script. But the problem is the emphasis is on them, because all they have to make this 2-minute video, and we can't make them do it. They just have to want to do it. And it's like $100,000 is for them. Like it's like money for them. And I think there's a decent chance they would get it. So I don't know. They're not much you can do. I mean, I'd love to see them just push it a little bit more forward. But that's where I know, Griff, I don't know if you talked to Rafa, but it'd be good just to maybe nudge them a little bit.
And this thing, is there a deadline on this thing?
There's no deadline, but
well, there is a deadline. It's the end of July.
Oh, okay.
Well, they do it. I mean, it's not necessarily
a rolling deadline, eh?
But it's like that's the next submission batch that they're going to review.
Okay, so we really should get it in before the end of this month, then.
So, is there? Does that? What was he going to ask? Oh yeah. So this 100K, is it to pay for like Libre devs to work on Giveth?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So this is like, I mean, it's a serious funding opportunity for us. I wonder if like we should try on our way back to Europe in early July, if we should try and just hit like a day or two in Tijuana and like make it happen. Yeah. Like make them see this video, because
that would definitely light more of a fire. But we're going to New York on the way back. Yeah, I guess we would go to LA and then New York and then but
I mean,
well,
you want to go to Tijuana?
I can make them do this, yeah.
Or
you go to Tijuana, I go to New York, and then we take different flights to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I would do it, if you do that, is don't do it like we're coming to talk to you.
No,
Say, we're coming to film that 2-minute video with you guys.
Yeah.
So they have to be prepared with the script, and then the Giveth component of that script will be filmed with them on the spot.
Yeah.
And then it's done, and then we submit the video, and that's really all. That's all it really needs is that 2-minute video.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at the Lumio this week, but
lots of people submitted their proposals. The only other Lumia was the Unicorn DAC Lumia.
The only other one?
Oh, that's great.
Well, the Lumia was Michael submitted.
Yeah, that's great. Everybody filled it out pretty much.
Yeah, she prioritized. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess this is the community meeting. Who else usually comes to this?
Kai, Chris, Josh, Danny.
The problem is somebody put in the group that you guys weren't probably available and suggested the meeting was going to be canceled.
Right, I missed that.
Well, I think Chris would have said that about comms yesterday because he was asking us if we were going to miss comms. But I hope he didn't say that we were going to miss Gov.
Yes, somebody said it in the governance channel.
Oh, no wonder.
Oh, it was Kai. Community meeting is canceled, right? Loie, Griff, me at least are in transit.
Oops.
Okay. Yeah, we did kind of.
We weren't sure.
We weren't sure. Yeah, we were talking to Kai and we were like, yeah, I don't know. So
okay.
But now we were sure and we didn't communicate soon.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I imagine that we'll just have to get into full swing next week at least with the governance meeting.
Yeah.
Because I have this proposal that I think deserves even though it got unanimous support, it wasn't a.
I mean, I think
it wasn't a lot of people.
I think there's some details about it too,
when
that at least need to be discussed.
Yeah.
Well, and also the other end of it, right? This is changing it from having, being able to look at the milestones as they come in every week and then they get funded. If I submit a milestone that I want funding right after the deadline for Unicorn funding, I have to wait 2 weeks to get funding from the Unicorn DAC. That's I think if we want to go this route, we need to at least announce.
Well, what's happening is that is already happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just want to make the policy, and so it really is more about communicating it to people. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is going to be the new official policy. This will be the time that if you want to see your milestones turn around quickly into dispersals, to get it in by this Friday before or whatever.
I would propose we move it to the 15th and the 1st or something like that, as opposed to, so that way it's reliable and easy for people to remember. Right, put your milestones in on the 15th or the 1st if you want them to be considered to be funded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think that. It's funny, in Giveth, I slowly learned bit by bit, the pieces of the elements of the old world business practices that are oh, that actually was a good idea. Payments every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
That kind of regular shit is nice. We don't need to pay people every week or every 3 months or something unreliable stuff.
I was surprised Chris said Europe standard was 2 weeks because I always think of Europe standard is a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in North America, well, at least where I've worked, it's always been 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
And and I think one thing that's true is routine can be a really good thing because it means your brain has one less thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So, having some things that are just kind of as you say, from the old world, some of that stuff,
there's a reason.
There was Sly and the Family Stone had this saying. It's just because, what do they say? Just because it was happening in the past doesn't mean it's not good or something like that, right? There's usually some of these things that stick around for a long time. Not always, but sometimes there's a good reason for it.
Absolutely. Can't reinvent the wheel all the time.
Yeah.
By the way, I talked to Wojtek quite a bit this morning on the architecture. So if you get a chance, I've tried to outreach to RJ as well, but you might know it as well as anybody, Griff. So if you have a chance to take a look at it, I'll put it in the chat window here since we're the only ones here.
Yeah, hey, it's a party. It's a Michael Griff Lowy party.
This is the smallest community meeting I've ever been to with you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I put it in there.
This looks great.
I think it pretty much describes it. The only thing I wanted to know was if we have dev release beta. We have a test box that's sandboxed.
We have dev release beta.
Right.
Yeah, we have develop, release, and beta. Yep.
And we have a test sandbox, or no?
Well, you can do not really. It's like local deployments.
Okay. So I'll just.
We don't have to host that or anything. But okay. you could say that, like, local deployment sandbox. Like I think that's fair. Like, people do that, but we don't maintain it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll change that to local deployment. Okay. And the other thing I want to know is the multi-sig, is it tied to the bridge contract?
It is very much, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And we don't have the bridge is the vault modified, so the vault isn't its own separate thing. So there's no vault contract on mainnet. It's just the bridge contract was the vault plus some extra functions that we added. So you can probably replace vaults with multi-sig.
Okay.
And maybe say multi-sigs.
Okay.
There's several multi-sigs.
Okay.
There's also some multi-sigs on Rinkeby as well. But
oh, really? Okay.
They're never used. Like, they're really just like almost silly.
Okay.
But I mean, there's a reason for them to be there, but it's still like they'll never be used. Or, well, okay, no, that's not true. I guess it's used anytime we want to add a token.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We have to use that on Rinkeby and on mainnet. The Rinkeby multisig is needed. But other than that, that's probably the only applicable use.
Yeah, maybe I'll just list the contracts then. So it's liquid pledging. What are the contracts we have on Rinkeby?
Well, every time someone deploys a campaign, that's a new contract. Every time someone deploys a milestone, that's a new contract. So we have a milestone factory and a campaign factory and a DAC factory, and then each one of those deploys their own contracts.
Okay, so liquid pledging, milestone factory, campaign factory, DAC factory.
I think you can just say liquid pledging and related contracts. Like,
okay,
it's hard to separate it by contract. You know, it's really the system.
Okay.
And then the multi-sigs. I think I call it liquid pledging God multi-sig, and then the escape hatch color multi-sig on Rinkeby. I think that's the only ones. But like, yeah, you could just say liquid pledging and multi-sigs, and I think that would cover all of and the bridge. There's also a Rinkeby bridge.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's good.
I think that's it.
All right, that's good. Okay, yeah. This will be really useful for everybody.
Yeah.
I think just so we have it and we have agreement that this is how it's supposed to be, how it kind of operates. So I think I'm getting a way better understanding now so I understand Feathers. Basically, it's an API.
Yep. And service.
Yeah. And then and Netify does not just like it helps us with the automating the deployment, right? So when you push to beta, it will kind of help to get it up on the server and operational, kind of.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it does. It just, at least this is my understanding. I mean, you have way more of a background in this than I do, but my understanding with working with Netlify is just that it makes it really easy to redeploy stuff out of GitHub, and make it live just like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. So then, and then the one other question on to go to mainnet from the DApp, the only call to mainnet, which is we're just going from the DApp to mainnet for donations and payments, right?
Yep. That's the only thing that we use mainnet for, is for actual movement of money out in and out of our system.
Okay, perfect. And do we store, if we put data, like Wojtek said, we also store data on Rinkeby. So we store data, like if it's videos, photos in IPFS.
Yep.
We store a lot of the data in the MongoDB through Feathers.
The main data there is for proposed milestones, I think. That's there stored in Feathers. I'm not sure that there's that much else only stored in Feathers. Maybe like some of the drop-down menus, any of the drop-down menus, I think, are stored in Feathers.
But on the blockchain itself, on Rinkeby, we store. I figured we stored this is where we use the liquid pledging to process like delegations and approvals and reviewers and stuff like that.
Yep. I think you'd be surprised at how easy it is to read these smart contracts. But the milestone smart contracts and the campaign smart contracts, we store, and of course liquid pledging itself, we basically store who has how much money and where.
Okay.
Right? And so wherever there's money involved, if it's money, then it's on liquid pledging, right?
Yeah.
The other thing we store on liquid pledging is the profile picture and basically the hash, all that, anything that's on IPFS, stored on as a hash on Rinkeby.
Right. Yeah, that's what Wojtek said. So we send the image to IPFS, and IPFS sends us back the hash.
Yep.
And then we send it to the blockchain, and then the bridge, the bridge will basically, once it's processed by the smart contracts on Rinkeby, the bridge service is just going to sync it to mainnet, more or less.
The bridge service just syncs it to mainnet. Yeah, well, basically, whenever there's an interaction that involves money coming in or out of the system, the bridge service assists that transaction. So, like when someone donates something, the mainnet bridge sends out an event that says where the donation is supposed to go and who sent it, and then that's the bridge smart contract. And then the bridge service hears that event and creates a token on Rinkeby that represents that donation.
Right.
And then donates it on Rinkeby, like as if it was donated on mainnet, on Rinkeby itself. And then the pledge is created with all the right data and so on.
Yeah, and that's why that bridge service monitoring is so important, to make sure that the token value is the equivalent of the, let's say, the ETH value.
Yep.
And yeah, so I think I have a very good understanding now of all this. This is great. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for taking such great notes and a beautiful diagram here that can make it so that teaching you to understand it means that everyone can easily understand it.
Yeah, well, this is the idea. So eventually what I want is to package all this into what we would call the dev onboarding documentation, because I think we need a separate package. So when somebody new, like Amin and Ajahn comes in, we just send them all this this one document, and it kind of just helps them understand how to navigate around Riot, what channels they should be part of in Riot, here's the architecture, et cetera, et cetera. And then it just, because right now I think we're doing it kind of manually, and it's like, depending on who you talk to, any one of us will forget something.
Yeah, of course.
So just will save us time. So that's good, yeah. And then on the other side, on this feathers thing, what do you think? Like, nobody's quite sure why feathers keeps going down, but Wojtek thinks it's because we're running out of memory. I mean, I think he said that one thing we should do is just turn on disk caching, which I totally agree. If we can turn on a disk swap, we probably have tons of extra space. That'll help for sure. But
I know nothing about this stuff.
okay,
like
this is where I'm a little bit better because I know a little bit about Linux servers. But I do wonder, like, we should look at the cost of just upgrading the RAM. You know, I was saying to these guys, look, it took us 2 hours times 2, 4 hours of time to fix something. The cost of upgrading the RAM might be $5. You know,
Yeah.
we should just upgrade the RAM.
No, we should upgrade our servers. I mean, the thing's not getting smaller, right?
Yeah.
We're only gaining more data. We're going to need to upgrade our stuff more than occasionally. So
yeah. So maybe if it's okay, then I'll just go ahead and upgrade it.
Yeah, please.
Wojtek said he's got 8 gigs going. I think we probably have 4 or something like that. So we might as well just double it. I'm sure the cost is so minimal.
Yeah.
BPS. We're just that money we'll get back in time savings and I really think like the uptime is also another, you know, representation of our it's our reputation as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we're so close. We're so close. Like, I feel like if we just get one more dev like Andre, then we're set to like start like onboarding people and doing some beta testing, like, and really getting more features in, you know, and
I agree.
I've been talking with Protea a lot, and oh my God, Dapline created the smart contracts that can allow us to accept donations by sending in an address directly. Remember that whole?
Oh yeah.
Because I basically knocked it out with you guys, and he was just listening in the background, and he took an afternoon and hacked it together. So, yeah, it was a fun challenge for him because he ran into lots of issues, but I was right there, so he could just ask me things, you know.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Then having that address finally.
Yeah, so we got that working too. I mean, but that's just the fun part, right? Like writing the smart contracts is the fun part. Now it's like, how do we integrate to the front end? You know, how do we make a button that can push that? Right?
Does he want to do the So wait, does he want to do the factory stuff then for the common stack?
The factory stuff. Yeah, like, he made the factory.
He did it. So that's basically he's created the factory for creating the specific addresses for the milestones already.
Yep. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily think that we need to deploy it or anything right now. I think it can be something we hold in our back pocket until someone pays us to add this feature, right?
Okay.
But at least we have something. And I don't think it's it's not at a stage where, oh yeah, we can deploy it. I mean,
yeah, I agree. Well, I contacted those other smart contract developers, and I think you'll get a message in your email. So one of them responded and expressed some interest if we need somebody, but we can just keep that also in our back pocket.
Yep. Let's see. So I don't do a good job at checking my email, which is bad.
Oh, that's okay. I'm checking email less and less. Like, it seems to be I'm getting less emails now because everybody's using Slack or Riot or something like that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, can I pause you guys just for a second? So we're gonna go. You didn't want to do this, right? On the way, we should just go. We should come back and then take the train.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'll be back in like.
Okay.
40.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so I think that's it then. Trying to think if there's any other questions I had for you while you're here, but I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad Andre had a great time. It seemed like everyone had a good time at the thing. And I think we got aligned. I'm curious to see how much stuff we actually pull into Giveth itself, and start like implementing. Probably not much, but the more important thing is that we're aligned, and if we do want to execute on any of it, it's there. So
yeah, I mean, one of the things. So we did have the funding meeting.
nice.
It was just Gustavo and I.
Okay.
But in the funding spreadsheet, I looked at what Danny had said. Because I wanted her to be there, but I think she was busy or something. But anyhow, what we did was we created a new tab that kind of is, what do we call it? We sort of like related to the. Let's see. I'll just pull it up. Budget-based opportunities, we're calling it. So the idea is relating things to the circles.
Oh, nice.
And so we could potentially then pull some of those out and then prioritize that. Obviously, I know you want to focus on like the easy wins, right?
Yeah.
Stuff you don't have to do a lot of work to get a win from it.
Yeah.
So that's where I think we could, I or all of us could just pull out our projects and put it in there, and then we can play around with it, and then we can kind of see where the priorities are. And then Gustavo put this thing about what he wants to do on this learning stuff. The good thing about that is he wants to do it anyways for his own personal. He thinks he can get funding for it on a personal basis.
Yeah.
So if he's going to do it anyways for himself, then what I was saying to him is, well, we could make it a win-win whereby, maybe we could lend the Giveth name to some of that work that you're doing, if because it's got a great reputation, and and then you get paid, so that kind of gives you a way to get paid. So
yeah,
could just grow into something over time, but we don't have to prioritize that at all. It's just something he's doing, and now we don't have to even think about it. I mentioned to him that if you were to promote it within the Ethereum community, that there probably would be interest, but not until August, September, October-ish time. And he said that fits perfectly with his thinking.
Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wants to come to the burn too. So I would imagine he doesn't want to start anything until after that.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, Bowen's here now.
Hey, Bowen.
How you doing? Sorry, I'm super late.
You're right on time.
You're way earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You're the second person to come.
That's good.
Well, Bowen, do you have any plans for this Burning Man? Tuesday? Is that the right time for this? It would work for me Tuesday morning at least.
Well, yeah, that was I have to wait the times. So I know that we had Monday and Tuesday of this week that I did the doodle for, but I was waiting to find out. I know you're in the US now, and I think most everybody else that's going to be on the call is in this hemisphere, right? So doing the meeting for US times is probably going to be okay. And who all needs to be invited to?
Really, it's just me, you, Danny. I don't want to get it too big. I would just pass it to the people who are actively engaged right now. Me, you, Danny, Joey. You remember Joey? Tarzan, Joey. Do you remember him?
Probably.
Good looking guy.
Did the what?
Helped build the dome. I think he helped us with bikes. He helped do the dome. What else did he do?
If I saw a picture, I'd probably remember him.
Yeah, for sure you'd remember him. But one of my best buds from Seattle. And yeah, we'll just see who else wants to join. I definitely don't want to invite Kirka. I want to keep him. I don't want to distract him with anything, you know?
Okay. Yeah. You had mentioned that before, and I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. And what I can do is I can just drop a line on the art card group saying that, you know, I'll be representing the group for now in the meetings until we get a little closer and they need to get involved. I'm just going to make sure that their camp happens for them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll make sure they have water, food, electricity, and all these details that will keep them surviving through the desert, and they can just focus on building that beautiful doge.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do a doodle as soon as we're done with this meeting, and Danny, and you can give it to whoever else.
Yeah, just make sure Danny is in, because, you know, she's one of the people that needs to come in. She is in the wrong time zone right now. Maybe she's coming back. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, we already had a long talk about it, so she's in to be at the meeting whenever it happens.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, do you guys have any other Giveth things? Because I should probably pack to run to the airport unless there's any other things.
The only last one thing I have is I rewrote the goals of social coding and put them at the end of the document for people to like maybe chime in on at some point. So like I wanted to see what everybody thought. There's only a couple of us here. Bring it up and chat.
Yeah, definitely put in the Unicorns channel and in the social coding channel. Like, let's see, maybe some people will come out of the woodwork and be like, oh yeah, let me read that, you know, and give some feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only other thing I had, but we can discuss this later, with Bowen actually, is this sort of DevOps idea, and I think you've heard about it already, about, you know, maybe potentially extending your role, Bowen, to monitor a wider range of services that we're sort of kind of keep our uptime. So Griff and I were talking about the problem with this Feather server that keeps going, at least it's gone down twice in the last week. Wojtek thinks it's like a memory issue, but the bigger issue is that we have some kind of way to, like, somebody gets pinged if the website goes down, and they get like maybe an email or a SMS, and then we can just go in and the right person has the right information to restart it, and maybe we need a couple of people in different time zones, so in case somebody's sleeping.
Yeah. Well, when I had originally talked to RJ about the idea of being able to have at least access to restart these things when they start to, you know, fall over, when it was happening a lot more before they switched every 5 minutes instead of every 5 seconds, and you know, I augmented my code to do the same thing, and we didn't really have a problem. And there's a faulty milestone or donation or something that's making it fall over because it wasn't it changes to the service, you know, and it's just suddenly starting to act up after disappeared into the background because it was donated without an associated profile, and that's, I think, about the exact same time it started to happen. Okay. It may just be coincidence, but it has to be something outside of code augmentation that made it happen. But all that being said, is there a way that maybe I can just get access to log in and run a command to restart services when they go down? Because I always see it. I see it every time it happens, and oftentimes I catch it before everybody else does. And so I'm totally into doing that, because I've just been monitoring it with my eyeballs. If we had monitor services where I could do that, that would be even better. and I've got plenty of place to stick that on the monitor to make it obvious.
Yeah, because I know you can do things. Right, like you could put a kind of a dashboard that shows, all of our servicers are up and running or something like that. What I can do is I'm trying to put together an admin guide, so we kind of have that information all together, and then I think it might make sense for you to have that access. So for example, if Feathers goes down, you know how to just do the reset. I mean, it's just a few simple commands on the Linux server to restart it. But I kind of like flagged it, because what happened last week was Andre and I were there during the retreat, and then Feathers went down, and it was too early. Like, it was too early for you, and RJ was still asleep, and George was still asleep, and Danny has a different set of instructions to restart Feathers than RJ does, and Andre didn't have any instructions to restart it. So it turned into like this kind of a bit of a mess, and it started to make me realize, oh, well, we need to kind of like get a little bit more systematic with all this information. So we can, so it shouldn't take an hour to get it restarted. It should just take a couple of minutes, right?
Right. I'm in 100% agreement with you on that. I would happily, have my phone pinged at whatever time when a service goes down to restart. I'm totally okay with that. That could also eventually be automated. The only problem and the reason why people don't like to automate service restarts is because of the fact that if it crashes and goes wrong, it can continuously try to restart itself over and over, and then you end up with an overloaded server, and a whole bunch of other bad stuff could happen theoretically. Though in practice it hardly ever happens. But yeah, I'll do it, especially until the whole purpose of the security. So eventually all of these services for other people, when they take this thing on, it just works for them. They don't have to worry about actually trying to maintain it. So yeah, let's do it. I'm totally down. Let me know when I have to be somewhere to talk to people about it or whatever, and I'm there. And start right now.
Okay, awesome. So I'll aggregate all the information into this Google Doc I'm creating. I mean, all the instructions, and then we have to give you access, and then
as limited as possible too, because I don't want to be able to find the private key on the bridge server or anything, just because of the security problem.
Well, I don't
and
the bridge server isn't part of this game in the end, unfortunately. That's going to stay in RJ's.
I thought that monitor ran on the same machine, but the monitor service, not my dashboard, because that could run anywhere. But I'm wrong.
No, I don't think it does.
So if the bridge dies, we still have to go to RJ?
Yeah, RJ, if the bridge service, like the specific thing that listens for events, and that's like its own very small thing that is running on a computer that he knows about, and that's it, like that one thing, and I don't think anyone can put SH into it or anything. Like, I think that one thing is very centralized. But other than that, there's a million other servers. And I really hope Kai can get in on this.
Yeah.
Because he would be our Europe person, Yeah.
And I think the bridge service, I think RJ said, has basically never gone down.
Yeah.
But the bridge monitoring service, for what I understand, runs on the DigitalOcean VPS.
Okay.
Sounds right.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. So then the access to that is not a security problem. Then I'm totally down 100% now that I realize that those aren't on the same machine.
Yeah. And so there's just that one. There's also the MLab server, and I guess there's the IPFS. And then there's Netify, which is the DAP, where DAP is sitting.
Yeah, that's what put new versions of, or I should say, accepts
Yeah,
them from
that's true.
GitHub when they happen. Because when I merge new code, it just appears via net.
Yeah, I just created I just went over the diagram with Wojtek this morning. So and then Griff and I just went over it as well. So I think it's pretty solid in terms of our architecture. So in the chat here, Bowen, if you want to take a look, there's a diagram of our Giveth server infrastructure.
In this chat,
and I'm gonna I put it in the
I think I made one of these.
Yeah,
but this is new.
But I played. Oh, okay. Yeah, this one is new. I just was modifying it this morning with Wojtek, but I think it's pretty solid now, and so it just gives a sense of where everything is. But
yeah,
I'll put that in.
Can I send you some? Okay.
Yep.
Can I send you a couple of little edits?
For sure.
It's just spelling. I'll just give you the spelling errors. I'll hit you up on Riot about it.
Okay.
Because I saw you channel and I'm like, oh, I should let you know that there's a couple of spelling errors.
Okay.
But yeah, awesome, cool.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, what else? Okay, cool. So I guess we can pick this up on Riot. It's good to see you also, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't been to a community meeting in a while, and now I show up and nobody's here.
It's everybody's traveling right now, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of travel.
Oh,
there's a lot of just like people getting back from traveling and like, oh yeah, there's other life besides Giveth, yeah. A little bit.
One last thing that I wanted to ask you. See, now my caffeine's kicking in and I can remember. Osaka in October.
Say that again.
My crypto stake in Lucre and DevCon. Nice. I'm gonna try and figure out a way to get. Yeah. Are you going? Is anybody else from Giveth going?
Yeah, for sure I'm going. I'm pretty sure Dapline will be there.
Cool.
Let me think. Who else will be going? I don't know. It's October. It's hard to plan for October already.
Well, if I'm going to try and get any type of a discounted ticket, like a build ticket or whatever, I'm going to have to apply now because the application stopped like right at the beginning of July.
What?
And,
applications are happening?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yes,
I was not aware.
I'll give you the. It's just devcon.org, and initial applications close on July 7th. They're buying all of their tickets, and they want me to be there. I've been working down at Taylor's house the last couple of days with. But they're like, yeah, we would love you to come. It's just that we can't afford to buy your ticket, Yeah. Okay, we'll be able to figure it out one way or another. Because I'm definitely not missing the opportunity to go to Japan because it's like one of a couple of places on Earth I wanted to die.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't think you'll have any problem getting the ticket for cheap. I mean, you're doing, wow, initial applications close on the 7th. You'll
yeah. So maybe we should.
We should spam Can you spam everyone for this?
Oh, for that, yeah. And I just didn't know. I didn't want to take advantage of any type of Giveth budgeting or anything to just pay for a wicked expensive $2,000 ticket or anything. So I was trying to figure out any way that we could reasonably cut financial. and talk to them down there about it yesterday.
I think you should apply for a scholarship and a builder discount because you are also doing stuff that they really like, which is building. You run the social coding project for Giveth, which is supposed to help onboard developers into the Ethereum space, and like kind of lean that direction. And they will be very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also, I think that they appreciate what Giveth is doing in a greater scope as well. Especially now you have new focus, and we already have a scaling solution. It's not really a solution, but it works.
Yeah.
So. No, absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to check all that with you first. I didn't want to take up too much of your time right now about it because, like you said, it is October, but we do need our apps in pretty much right away.
Yeah, exactly. And I might even be a good idea for me to like check out Airbnb and start like looking for a good place.
I can send you where the crypto one's going to be if you want to.
My crypto.
I want to see it. I'll shoot you the. Yep, they already booked it.
So it's fast.
And I'll show you. Right, it's goddamn from being on top of everything already.
Yeah,
but anyways,
they have lucre. I mean, of course they're on top of
everything. True story. Yeah, so that's it. I will let everybody know that the only open until July 7th go needs to get the fuck on it. Is there a channel that everybody's in that I should be putting this?
Unicorns.
What about
what about what?
Dapland and Unicorn?
Yeah, I
think so.
I think he's in there.
Okay, I'll double check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that's it for me.
Yep.
All right. Take it easy. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, love you guys.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Cheers.